When I moved into Cedar Ridge Estates, I knew two things immediately. First, the houses were beautiful. Second, the homeowners association was going to be a problem. Cedar Ridge was the kind of neighborhood that looked like it came straight out of a real estate brochure. Perfect lawns, matching mailboxes, freshly painted shutters. Even the trash cans had to be hidden from street view before sunset. And I didn't mind rules. I've always respected order. After all, I've been volunteering with a county fire department for 12 years. But what I didn't expect was that a small generator trailer, one that literally helped save lives, would spark a neighborhood war. The trailer wasn't fancy. It was a single-axle, utility-style generator trailer painted bright emergency red. On the side were reflective stripes and small magnetic placards that read, "I didn't own it." Technically, it was registered under the department, but because I had a large driveway and quick access to the highway, I stored it at my house. It was used during power outages, wildfire staging, community events, and medical emergencies. It wasn't permanent. It wasn't commercial. It was emergency equipment. And it saved the county money by not having to rent storage space. I cleared it with the fire chief before bringing it home. What I didn't clear it with was the HOA. 3 weeks after moving in, I found a bright orange slip taped to my front door. Unauthorized trailer parked in driveway. Remove within 48 hours or fines will apply. I stared at it for a long moment. Unauthorized trailer. I walked down the driveway and looked at the generator trailer. It was clean, covered, parked neatly beside my garage. It wasn't blocking sidewalks. It wasn't leaking fluids. It wasn't abandoned. It powered emergency response equipment. I called the number on the notice. A woman answered. "Cedar Ridge HOA, this is Denise." "Hi, Denise," I said calmly. "I received a violation notice about a trailer. That trailer belongs to the county fire department. I'm a volunteer firefighter."
Pause.
"Well," she replied in a flat tone, "our community guidelines prohibit visible trailers. This isn't recreational. It's emergency equipment." "That may be, sir, but rules apply to everyone." That sentence. Rules apply to everyone. I've heard that tone before. Usually right before someone finds out they messed with the wrong firefighter. I attended the next HOA meeting. Bad idea. HOA meetings are like jury duty mixed with a reality show. There were about 15 residents sitting in folding chairs in the clubhouse. At the front table sat the board, 3 members.
Denise.
A man named Carl. And the HOA president, Margaret Wilkes. Margaret had the posture of someone who ironed her napkins. When my turn came to speak, I stood. "Good evening.
I'm James Walker.
I live on Red Oak Drive. I'm here about the violation notice regarding the generator trailer." Margaret smiled the kind of smile that isn't actually a smile. "Yes, Mr. Walker. The trailer. It belongs to the county fire department. I volunteer. It's used during emergencies." Carl adjusted his glasses. "The bylaws state no trailers may be visible from the street. So, if there's a wildfire," I asked calmly, "you'd prefer I store it somewhere 20 miles away?" "That's not our concern," Margaret replied. "Aesthetics maintain property values." I looked around the room. "Property values," I repeated. "Over emergency preparedness." Murmurs. Margaret straightened. "Remove it within 48 hours or fines will begin at $100 per day." That was the moment I realized this wasn't about rules.
It was about control.
Not because I'm stubborn. Okay, maybe a little. But mostly because wildfire season was approaching. And 3 days later, the hills caught fire. It started on a Thursday afternoon. Dry lightning. Within 2 hours, flames were racing through brush 5 miles from Cedar Ridge. Our department was deployed immediately. Guess where the staging area was set up? At the entrance of Cedar Ridge Estates. Because it had the widest access road in the area. Guess what powered the portable medical tents and radio equipment? The generator trailer. My generator trailer. The one the HOA wanted gone. Residents stood outside watching fire engines roll in. Helicopters thumped overhead. Smoke filled the sky. Margaret was standing near the entrance when I backed the truck into position and unhitched the trailer. She recognized it instantly. Her face changed color. I didn't say a word. I just pulled the cord. The generator roared to life. Lights flickered on across the emergency station. Radios powered up. Medical coolers hummed. And for the next 14 hours, that trailer powered the response that kept the fire from reaching the neighborhood. By morning, the fire was contained. No homes lost. Cedar Ridge was safe. It wasn't. A week later, I received another notice. They had counted every day since the first violation. Even during the wildfire. I laughed. Then I got angry. Then I decided to handle it properly. I was on shift when it happened. My neighbor, Mrs. Alvarez, called me. "James," she whispered urgently, "there's a tow truck in your driveway."
What?
"They're taking the red trailer." I felt my stomach drop. "That's fire department property."
I told them, she said.
They said they had authorization from the HOA. I left the station immediately. By the time I got home, the trailer was gone. In its place was a second violation notice taped to my garage. Trailer removed due to noncompliance. Towing and storage fees apply. They had towed county-owned emergency equipment. Without contacting the department. Without verifying ownership. Without authorization from the registered entity. I stared at the empty driveway for a long moment. Then I made one phone call. To the fire chief. Chief Reynolds is not a dramatic man.
He's calm.
Measured. Professional. Until someone interferes with emergency equipment. "Repeat that," he said slowly. "The HOA had it towed." Silence. Then, "Do you have documentation?" "Oh yeah." "Good. I'm calling the county attorney." That's when things got interesting. The trailer was located at a private impound lot across town. The fire department arrived first. Then a county legal representative. Then me. The tow yard manager walked out confidently until he saw the county vehicles. "Is there a problem?" he asked. "Yes," the county attorney said smoothly. "You are in possession of government property." The man blinked. "We were contracted by Cedar Ridge HOA. "And did you verify ownership before towing marked emergency equipment?" He swallowed. "Well, no." The attorney's voice sharpened slightly. "Release it immediately. All fees waived. And provide documentation of who authorized this tow." Within 10 minutes, the trailer was unhooked and returned. But it wasn't over. Because now it wasn't just about HOA rules. It was about unlawful seizure of government property. The HOA received a formal notice from the county within 48 hours. It outlined unauthorized towing of county-registered equipment interference with emergency services, potential liability during wildfire operations, financial damages. It also requested a meeting. Margaret did not look as confident this time. The clubhouse was packed. Word had spread quickly. Residents were not happy. Many of them had seen that generator power the emergency tents. Many of them had realized how close the fire came. Chief Reynolds attended personally. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He simply laid out facts. If that trailer had been inaccessible during the wildfire, response times would have increased. Medical support would have been delayed. That increases risk. To firefighters. And to residents. He paused. The decision to tow it was made, without contacting the department. All eyes turned to Margaret. She cleared her throat. "We were enforcing community standards." Chief Reynolds nodded slightly. Community standards should not obstruct emergency services. Applause broke out. Not polite applause. Loud applause. Margaret's authority cracked right there. The HOA rescinded all fines. They issued a formal apology to the fire department. They paid the towing company's cancellation fees. They amended their bylaws to allow emergency response equipment with proper documentation. And 3 months later, Margaret lost re-election as HOA president. Carl resigned. Denise transferred responsibilities. Cedar Ridge changed. Here's the ironic part.
Now,
when the generator trailer is parked in my driveway, neighbors wave. Kids point and say, "That's the firepower trailer." During storms, residents ask if they can help refuel it. At the annual block party, the HOA asked me to bring it as a community preparedness demonstration.
I did.
Because I don't hold grudges. But I do believe in lessons. And the lesson was simple. Rules exist to protect people, not the other way around. Firefighting isn't about heroics. It's about readiness. Preparation.
Community.
That little red trailer isn't an eyesore. It's insurance. It's safety. It's the difference between chaos and control when things go wrong. HOAs worry about property values. Fire departments worry about lives. One of those matters more. A year after the incident, another wildfire threatened the county. Again, Cedar Ridge became a staging area. Again, the generator powered everything. But this time, Margaret wasn't there. Instead, the new HOA president, Mrs. Alvarez, brought bottled water for the crew. And before I started the generator, she smiled and said, "Thank you for keeping that trailer here." I pulled the cord. It roared to life. And this time, nobody complained. People sometimes forget that rules need context. Authority needs wisdom. And control without understanding leads to embarrassment. The HOA thought they were protecting property values. Instead, they ended up funding a legal letter from the county. All because they couldn't tell the difference between a nuisance trailer
And a lifeline.